What if I told you your child could retire a millionaire, even if you only invested $50 a month? Would you believe me? Well, with stocks, that's very possible, more than possible. And today I'm going to show you just how to get started. As an example, $1,000 invested at age 10 could end up being $88,000 without adding one extra penny. Lester's dictionary states a stock is a piece of ownership in a company. When you buy a stock, you become a partial owner of that business. So you own a share of Disney or a share of Apple or a share of Nike. You literally own a piece of that company. So when it comes to stocks, there are mainly two ways that you can earn money with stocks. One, as your company that you invested in grows, the price of your stock that you own grows, thus gaining you money. The other way is as that company grows, they start to hand out little chunks of money throughout the year called dividends. Most stocks either focus mostly on the growth of their company or passing out dividends to their shareholders because both of these things help them get more shareholders. Think of stocks like money trees, but the trees grow faster and stronger the earlier you plant them. That's why we stress very, very hard. Start now, even if it's only a little bit. I promise you it'll pay off later. Number one investing advantage over most adults, and that's time. Because of compounding, even small investments can grow into massive ones over time. Unlike most of those get rich quick schemes, this is not about making your kid rich overnight. It's about giving them options for freedom to do whatever they want later on in life. All right, I'll let you know what a stock is. Let's get started on talking about how to actually go and get some for you or your child. So first step I would suggest is deciding what kind of brokerage or account that you would like to begin with. So a few that I've used myself are Robinhood. I think it's very user friendly, easy to use. Yeah, probably the most user friendly starter investment app that I've seen. Another one that I've tried myself is Acorns. A good thing about Acorns is it's very simple because there's not as many options as there are on other brokerages. But a thing they key in very often on is, hey, link us to your bank, and every amount of change that you spend will round that up to the nearest dollar and invest that amount for you. So it's a good way to passively invest over time. And you have options on like doubling or tripling the amount that they round up to, just if you want to be a slightly heavier investor. So that's cool. TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, those two are probably like the top kingpins of investing into stocks. Any seasoned investors, traders, stuff like that, a lot of them like to use those. Webull, I haven't used Webull myself, but I've heard that a lot from a lot of people who study statistics and trends in the stock market. So maybe try that out. And the last one I'll mention is Fidelity. I think Fidelity has the most options on different investment vehicles because you can buy stocks from there, but you can also, get bonds. You can set up different, retirement accounts. You can set up things that are tax advantaged. You can have them either invest for you, right, through a financial advisor, or you can invest yourself. I like Fidelity, and then another thing with Fidelity is most accounts only let the adult set up an account, but Fidelity actually, if your kid is 14 or older, I believe, you can set up an account for them and give them an allowance. The way I have it set up for my kid, I give him allowance every week, and he can go in there and buy any stock that he wants. Obviously, I advise him on what to get and what not to get. I have him run it through me so he doesn't waste the money. But I think that's a great tool because instead of you investing in whatever you want to for their entire life and then them just receiving it at 18, you can get them to start investing themselves to really understand the trends and see the way it flows. So when they become 18 or older, it's not brand new to them. All right. So now that you've chosen a place to actually purchase the stocks, let's talk about what stocks to get. Highly, highly, highly suggest that you start with something very simple, very easy, like an index fund. My favorite is the S&P 500, or VOO is VOO. And basically, like it sounds, This one purchase contains 500 stocks, 500 of the top stocks in the world. So you literally can't miss. And the reason I suggest investing in this as opposed to a singular stock is because if that singular stock does bad, your money does bad. But if you invest in VOO, the S&P 500, then if a singular stock inside of that 500 stocks does bad, the other 499 stocks will keep your money positive. So it's thought of as a great safe investment, and anybody starting off should focus purely on safety and just watch how everything works before you start getting into, harder things like singular stocks. And even when you go into singular stocks, I get it. Penny stocks look tempting because it's like, ooh, if this goes up a little bit, I'm gonna make a bunch of money. 99% of people don't make a bunch of money. They end up losing money just making a whole bunch of bets. It's pretty much like playing the lottery. Majority of people lose. So if you want to be on the side of where majority of people win, I advise in investing in the top 10 stocks, basically, right? You want to look at your Apple, your Microsoft, your Google, your Amazon, your Nvidia, things like that. You can pick which one you actually want to go with, but I think that that's the safest way to go. I'm not a licensed financial advisor. You don't got to listen to a thing I say, but that's what I do with my money, and that's what I get my son to do with his money. In addition to that, one that I guess I haven't mentioned that I really like is SMH. And this one is another one that holds multiple stocks. And this one holds a lot of the chip things, right? All these GPUs, CPUs, everything that you probably heard of AI and, semiconductors and things like that. This is a stock that holds a lot of those things. And that's been doing pretty well for me over the last couple of years. Well, your kid's a kid, right? Like we said, they have the power of time. So honestly, even outside of these safe picks that I'm obsessed with, let them pick something that they've heard of before, right? Maybe they like Nike. Maybe they like Chipotle. Maybe they like Kava. Honestly, a couple of those are doing really well. But let them invest in some things they've heard of before because now they'll be an owner in some of those companies and they'll be able to connect to investing more to hopefully flourish later on when they're adults. All right, now step number 3, right? You've learned how to pick a brokerage to actually buy the stocks. You've learned what stocks you should probably buy. Now, number 3 is probably the most important out of these 3 steps, and it's make the habit. You need to invest monthly. I invest in my child weekly, but at the minimum, you need to invest monthly. There's tons of ways to set up an automatic payment. I'm telling you, set up this automatic because everybody wants to be like, oh, I just want to take, $1,000 and just throw it in and not think about it anymore, or take, $5,000 and just put this in and not do. No, that's cool and all. That's fine to start, but you need a dedicated putting X amount of money in every single month. You just need to get used to living without that $50 a month, $100, $200 a month. I promise you'll adjust. You won't even notice it's gone, but your account will notice that it's receiving it. And after a few years, you'll be like, wow, where did all this money come from? So biggest advice to you is please decide however much you want to give. You can always adjust it later, but never turn it off. Start investing monthly and keep that running for the rest of your life. Get your kid to do the same thing. They'll thank you. You'll thank you. Your grandchildren will thank you. It is going to happen. Everybody's going to get thanked. Now, just as a bonus to the parents, if you want to start connecting more with your child, I highly suggest you talk to them about the stocks. Don't just tell them what stocks to get and leave it. Let them pick out some stocks. I had a lot of fun letting my son, I gave him some money and I was like, hey, we're going to invest this amount. I want you to go pick out 4 stocks that you would break this money up into and tell me why you picked them. Right? He did that, took some time. We met up the next day. He was like, oh, I want this, and this. I'm like, okay, cool. Why'd you pick this one? Why'd you pick that one? Why'd you pick Roblox? Why'd you pick Nike? And he'll tell me his thought process on it. I'll pull up the chart, look at it over the last 1 year, last 5 years, last 10 years. And I'm like, okay, well, I get that you like this company, but just because you like it doesn't mean it's an investable company. And it just created a lot of dialogue and I think a deeper learning. And it gave us an opportunity to connect in a different way. So I highly, highly recommend. Yep. Right. Yep. All of that. There you go. I highly recommend giving them a chance to pick out their own stocks, and then you guys have a dialogue about it. I think you'll enjoy hearing how your teen's brain works when it comes to investing in money, and they might even show you something that you didn't notice. Hey, I appreciate you making it to the end of this video. If any of you want a little more help in getting your teens into these type of investments, or maybe some other things like renting out cars or owning real estate or flipping or Airbnbs or starting different other entrepreneurial ventures, that's what my Mammoth Money Teen Academy is for. There's a link for it down below. We teach teens how to save, budget, invest like pros without all the boring lectures. We try to keep it fun. Micah isn't always here to interrupt, but she might make some appearances because that's what dads do. You get it. I hope y'all have a good night. Thanks for watching.